What's up, Fire Nation? If you're here, it's because you don't play small. Fire Nation is for the ones fueled by passion, driven by growth, and hungry to build real wealth. Not just for yourself, but for your family and future generations. This isn't just a channel. This is a movement. And if you're watching, you are already part of it. I'm Miss Bluefire, always taking you higher. Let's light it up. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Fire Nation. Hello, Fire Nation. And hello, Imhotep, my brother. He's a part of Fire Nation. But hello, Gaza Nation, as well as all the fans. I am waiting for our guest today. I'm going to have a co-host. Um, it's a surprise. So I am going to not mention his name until he comes. Everybody that's coming in, please like the live. Please like and share, right? And big you up, right? Thanks for being here. It's always good to have people who want to have real, intelligent, honest conversations and not just move with feelings. You guys know me. I don't move with feelings, I move with facts, right? That doesn't mean I don't have feelings, but not when it comes to serious things. I've been trained heavily. So tonight we are going to discuss Oran Oranedane. Good afternoon. Up, manners and respect. Yeah, I'm just waiting for dancehall war. Damn it, I gave it away. Yeah, I have a co-host today. Dancehall war is going to help me because this is going to be open panel as well. We're going to invite some of you to come on, right? Give your perspectives of the different clashes, right? And yeah, and discuss what it is that you're going to learn today. So today is going to be really good. It's going to be really, really exciting because I really love this topic. Like I dug and picked it apart, right? Right? Everybody knows that clash is something that I love 100% completely. So he might be running a little bit late. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start. Okay, hold on. Let me give him a text and see. Bless up everybody who is there. All the people in the bushes. That's fine to be in the bushes. I don't mind. But like the stream. Hold on. Let me give him a text. Okay. So I'll just wait until he comes. Oh, there he is. Up dance hour. Let me add you to the stage whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, let me know. You just call in. Okay. As I said to you today, Fire Nation and Gaza Nation and all the other nations that are here. When I say Fire Nation, that includes everybody that is here. I'm going to have help today. Dancehall War has been so kind, and this topic actually does fit his brand because his name is Dancehall War, and we are going to be picking apart clashes. So he's going to be helping me with manning the platform. He has some questions for people. So listen, guys, don't be shy to call in. Don't be keyboard warriors. Call in, state your claim, right? State why you think what you think, and be free to ask questions or to be free to comment. Good afternoon, guys. Ricardo. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. All right, so we're going to start, and when Dancehall War is ready, he can indicate that in the chat or tell me that he's calling in because I'm going to start the lesson right now. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. It's going to be great. All right, so oops. Right. All right. Let me do this. Yeah, so that's better. Now, today we're going to talk about defining a clash, right? But before we go into what is a clash, oh, he said send the link. Sorry about that. You know what? I should get smoother at this. You know? Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in right now. I'm getting better, people. I'm getting better. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for bearing with your sweet Miss Blue Fire. Right? I'm so sorry I didn't put the link in the chat. How did I miss that? But we'll live and we'll learn. Good. So we're gonna start with the lesson. And Gaza Ricardo, you're free to call in. I'm gonna make sure that I add Dancehall War to the stage because he's going to be the one manning the platform as well. And he has some questions as well, right? And he will be heading the discussion with people as well. So I learn from people in the space. He's another vlogger that's actually sparked my fancy because of the fact that of how he handles his platform and just the balance that he had. So when I was reaching out to I thought who could be really great dancehall, definitely. And this is right up his alley. This what is that? This clash between Kartel and Ninjaman because we have heard right that oh Ninjaman would sauce him, you know, if it happened to go right with Ninjaman would sauce him, you know. But we are going to break that apart. We're going to talk about why. Adrian Bailey, hello. Good day to see you. Good day, my dear. So I dropped the link dance hour. I don't see you calling in. So maybe there's a delay. I'm not too sure. But we're going to start soon. But listen, I want to say something to the Gaza Nation as well as to everybody else, Fire Nation. Listen, I want you to always listen to the reasoning behind what people say. Listen to the reasoning. Okay, let me add Dance Hour. Hi, Dance Hour.
Well, go on, Miss Julia.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me, and thank you for helping me today. I
Big
appreciate
up, big up people who watch Miss Blue Fire. You know the thing. Go make sure you know like the video, share the live.
it.
You
Thank
don't
you.
know.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we're gonna go into it right now since you're here, for the
Yeah,
sake of
man.
people on the playback. So, Fire Nation, before we decide the better clash artist and who the better clash artist is, we have to ask a more uncomfortable question. What exactly are we measuring? Right? What are we measuring? So we need to fix the foundation because one of the biggest mistakes people make in dancehall debates is this. And this is what I've heard on the different platforms. They treat the word clash like it meant the same thing in every era. It does not. Clash is not just two artists insulting each other. That's why I love it. Clash is our cultural system. It is a performance ritual. It is a test of authority, confidence, and survival in front of a crowd that is waiting for you to fail. All entertainers know this. So when people say, who was the better clash artist? The real question is, better under what rules? Because we are going to pick apart today and we're going to discover together every generation of dancehall created a different battlefield. And tonight we are going to break down those battlefields, right? This AI name look Natasha. Right. So let me ask you something, Fire Nation. I know a lot of you love sports because, as I said before, the people who subscribe to me, sometimes I look at what your interests are by who you subscribe to, right? A lot of you like basketball. Now, let me ask you something. If you took an NBA player from the 1960s, think about it now, and you dropped him in today's game, the way the game is played now, with different training, different rules, and different technology, would we judge him by the same standards? No. So why do we do that with clash artists, right? We have to stop treating clash artists like it's one fixed category. It was not fixed. Okay? A clash artist in Ninjaman's prime was being judged inside a very specific cultural machine, the sound system logic. Remember, I told you my great grandmother had a sound system, right? Live event volatility, public humiliation risk, masculine performance codes, and immediate crowd verdict. Guys, if you're old enough, you need to go back in your memory and think about Sting, right? Think about Sting. And for the young ones who are just coming up, you need to research it. Sting was great in its day. We're going to go into that. Now, academic work on DJ clashes and Jamaican masculinity treats clash not just as lyrics, but as a performance of power, a performance of rivalry and social positioning. So when people say Ninja was the better clash artist, my first response would be, better at what kind of clash? We're going to break it down. So all the naysayers, hold your horses. See if you can agree. If you can't, you're free to call in. Because think about it. And I remember both well. I don't want to date myself. You know, I'm 27. Right? Ninja's era did not ask the same questions that Cartel's era did. Ninja's era was built on public domination, not just lyrical quality in that era. In that era, the artist was not merely trying to say the smartest thing. He was trying to own the space, right? That means own the stage, own the crowd mood, own the opponent's confidence, own the emotional temperature of the venue. And you could see that when Ninjaman walk out and they even say a word. Yo, every time when I even see that video, I guess sometimes I go back and I look at it and I'm like, man, I wish I was there. I get goosebumps, right? Because you just stand there and the whole crowd go crazy. That is owning the stage. That is owning the crowd mood. That is owning the opponent's confidence, right? And that is the emotional temperature of the venue. Okay? Now, this is a different standard from later bar breakdown culture. When I say bar breakdown, I mean, you know, how we go through the lyrics, right? Think about what everybody, what what was going on, even with Massacre and Tommy Lee, right? And how people were holding on to those lyrics. It's a different type of clash, but we're gonna get into that, right? So Ninja's greatness, we're not taking anything away from Ninja. It was deeply tied to his ability to make the clash feel dangerous, theatrical, and immediate. That is why Sting history matters so much here. Now, I did some coverage, I did some research on Sting's history, right? And I'll give you the dance, it's called Dance Magazine or Dancehall Magazine. I'll tell you what it is, right? Coverage of Sting's history repeatedly described the event as volatile and spectacle driven. You saw them when they came on stage, nobody shinier than them, right? That's why I always tell you dancehall is not just music, right? Even dress. So with legendary clashes and crowd disorder becoming part of its identity. Everybody remember when Buckle used to fly? And also Billboard's 30th anniversary piece, it points to events like the Shabba Ninja Clash in 1990, right? As flashpoints of mass pandemonium. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to get into that, right? Ninja's era rewarded a man who could do more than rhyme. It rewarded someone who could command fear, trigger cheers in the crowd, turn insults into theater, use body language as a weapon, make the audience feel that something irreversible might just happen tonight, right? Ninja's skill was total confrontation management. Big up Ninjaman, 100%, right? Now, dancehall war. Before I continue, do you have anything that you want to add to that, what I just went through, that little piece?
Well, basically, as I say, you know, Ninjaman just in presence, you know what I mean? And the crowd go wild, you know what I mean? But you don't know, Ninjaman great pan
Yes.
building. Yeah, man, him great pan building lyrics pan spot too, you know, you see me?
Mm-hmm.
So Ninjaman, you can say, it bring a lot of surprise to the clash, you know what I mean? Because you don't know where I come with them.
Yeah,
You see me?
exactly.
Yeah, man. So,
Yeah, the improvisation, and we're going to go into that because dancehall magazine actually went into that. Let me big up some people in the chat. Yo, big up yourself, sweetheart. Big up yourself. Mr.
Yeah, man.
Gaza, always welcome. Big up yourself.
Yeah,
Francisco
man.
Tech, good to see you. Y Fitz, God bless. 6573, big up.
Yeah,
Desmatic 9, big up yourself. And Fire Starter, boys. Big up on yourself. All right,
yeah.
so we're going to,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead,
And
Nick.
one more thing, you see to me the best clash artists have to have like crowd control, stage presence, timing. You see me I say?
Mhm.
And I'm a lyrical too. You see me I
That's
say?
right.
But you
That's
know the
right.
thing.
That's right.
Yes, we do.
100%. 100,
Mm.
100%. 100%. But this is the thing. Clashing Ninja's era was still close to sound system or logic. So a
Yeah,
lot of people compare the eras too casually because they focus on only famous videos. But the deeper roots matter. DJ Clash came out of a broader Jamaican competitive culture tied to the sound systems, the rivalry, the audience reaction, the status performance, right? And the
yeah.
academic writing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
listening.
yeah. So they treat the DJ Clash treats it as a socially charged arena where speech, masculinity, and reputation are performed under pressure, right?
Yeah,
So the clash, so that means that Ninja's clash inheritance was not just write the best diss for the internet. It was closer to, can you survive direct confrontation in a culture that values verbal fearlessness and crowd submission, right? It's kind of like a different type of clash, but we're going to go into the similarities and the differences. So the clash in Ninja's era was still close to sound system or logic. That means Ninja's Clash Inheritance was not right the best this for the internet. As I said before, sorry, I made that into a post on the video. Yeah. Right? So yeah, we were talking about that, what they were defending. Let me pass that. Now, move on. Ninja fit that word perfectly. He was not just a lyricist, he was a performative aggressor. That was Ninjaman. Okay. Now some ninjas clash era some clash skills, sorry, are not easy to transcribe. For example, ask yourself, if you're a clash artist, can you deliver the line at the exact second that the crowd is ready to receive it? Can your tone itself intimidate, ridicule, and energize? Can you stalk the stage in a way that weakens the opponent before the next line even lands? And can you change your style when the audience shifts their mood? These were all things that I perceived because I went back over on YouTube, guys. The videos are on YouTube. Go back and look at them, right? You can see what is this that I'm saying. These are facts, right? Right. Now, Ninja fit that word perfectly because he was asking, can you make the audience participate in the opponent's humiliation? Those are not small things. In Ninja's era, those things were bloody central, right? Now, this is why some older fans, not me, but like Dancehall Warren, swear by him so strongly. That's all I just figured. They are not only remembering lines, they are remembering the control that Ninja had on the stage. No, the era what he was in was less forgiving because it was less mediated, right? Today, bad performances, they can be spun, they can be clipped, they can be defended, they can be reframed. But back then, if the live crowd rejected you, that rejection hit harder in the moment, right? And you can see that when what Vybz Kartel went through with Movado, right? When he said that thing about him mother, a lot of people from where I was standing reacted very negatively in that moment, right? Yes, recordings existed at that time, but the emotional center of the event was still the room itself. So Sting's history shows that the crowd volatility, the bottle throwing, the abrupt escalation, they were not side details. They were part of the pressure environment that artists had to navigate as a clash artist, right? Yes, it's called dancehall mad, right? So Dancehall Mag's recap of Sting 2003 includes references to patrons throwing bottles and to Donna Hope's commentary on Sting's spectacle of violence as the crowd being too on edge. Donna Hope, right? That tells you the arena itself was unstable. So Ninja's era was testing composure in danger and charisma in chaos. I want to say that again. I want you to think about it. Ninja's era was testing. Go back in your memory. Don't take my word for it. Ninja's era was testing composure in danger and charisma in chaos. Very important skills, right? Command in front of unpredictable people. That is not the same test that Cartel later excelled at. Ninja's era placed huge value on seniority and direct challenge. These are facts. You all know that. You all know the history with Sting, right? And even the bad man police them and etc. etc. I don't have to. If you're old enough to know, you know. If you're not old enough to know, find out. Another thing that people overlook: the older Clash order was heavily shaped by hierarchy. So even the fact that Cartel would even it was supposed to be Ninjaman and Bounty Killer, and Cartel was put there. That was intense because the hierarchy of him being one of the older ones. These are facts. If you were taking on a senior man, especially like Ninjaman, the whole moment carried extra cultural weight. Dance War. Before I go on, do you have anything you want to add to it or continue?
Yeah, man. You can continue that one.
Okay. All right.
I'm listening.
Anytime when you want to jump in, just jump in.
Yeah, yes, Miss Brufire. Me there, listen, man.
All right. So it was not just two artists trained in lines, it was also rank versus ambition. The rank was Ninjaman, the ambition was Cartel. Establishment versus challenger. Authority versus the rebellion. That means the Clash could carry a generational charge. Ninja thrived in a system where that charge mattered. He could weaponize seniority, experience, fear factor, and presence. That made him devastated in an era where status itself was a part of the contest. Now, Ninja's greatness, though, was not universal greatness. It was era-specific mastery, right? Now, I did that. That was the post I did. I should delete it. Now, what made him great was very specific. He represented a live war tradition. He embodied direct verbal conflict. He knew how to make a crowd feel the clash physically. He knew how to turn confrontation into event. So yes, Ninjaman was definitely elite, but elite at that format. Now, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. I want you to keep these questions. I want you to think about it and even write it in the chat. And later on, we can go back to them. If the rules of a competition change, can we still judge the winners of the two different eras by the same standard? I think not. When we say someone is the best Clash artist, what exactly are we measuring? Energy, lyrics, dominance, or something else? If two artists win under completely different conditions, does that mean one is better or just better suited for their environment? Remember, the Ninjaman era was live war culture crowd. That was the judge, right? That was the judge. Now, so if we are serious, Fire Nation, Gaza Nation, all the nations, if we are serious about understanding this conversation, we have to stop thinking of Clash as one thing. Clash was never frozen in time. Clash evolves with our culture. The environment changes, the audience changes, the pressure changes, the technology changes. And when the environment changes, the type of artist who dominates that environment also changes. Think about it. So now that we understand that Clash itself is a system, not just an argument, we can finally start looking at the era that shaped Ninjaman. And that is what we're going to do.
Miss Julie, to your
Yes,
first question, you say if the rules of the competition change, can we still judge the winners of, of two different eras by the same standards?
yeah.
Well, during Ninjaman era, you know, say, I mostly live clash them do and thing. You see me, I
Mhm.
say? They were, whenever I have no viral clip and no streaming numbers at the time, say, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
me? And the crowd reaction decided everything. You know what I say? But today
right.
now, in a this era, Vybz Kartel, you see me, I say, at this song, we have songs where we are clash, where we are, the fans, them are, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Where them release online, you don't know, them clash online with songs and thing. You don't know, you have the bloggers a react. You see me,
yeah,
I say? The whole social media. So is me I say, so
yeah,
if you judge both of them by the same exact standard, it would be difficult. Is me I say, cause the rules
exactly
of the
right.
game changes, me.
Exactly.
So
Nail on head dancehall award. That's I know you're perfect for this, but that nail on head. Because even if you see how we deal with the clashes now, everything is bars and lines. You see what I'm saying? And we can replay it, and it's more of the analytical thinking. So now we're in really cartel era, but we're gonna get into that. There that time, right? They weren't as with that psychological pen, right? It
mm,
was more in the moment, but you are 100%,
yeah.
100% right.
Yeah. So
100%.
in this case now, Ninja Man would have to adapt still. Is me I say?
Right? Exactly right. Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Mm.
Exactly right. But we can't take away his greatness for the time.
No, no, we can't. We don't do that. Mm.
Right. Exactly right. So now let's step into the world that created a figure like Ninjaman. Because to understand Ninjaman, you have to understand the environment that forged him. The clash culture of the 80s and 90s was not designed for quiet thinkers. It was designed for stage warriors. This was an era where the stage was not just entertainment, it was confrontation. Crowds came to Sting not to hear music only, but to witness dominance. And if you could not command the room, if you could not control the energy, the tension, the chaos, the crowd would turn on you instantly. This was live warfare. No rewind button, like Dancehall War said. No comment section defense, like Dancehall War just said. Just the room and your courage. Now, let's go into imagine again. I want you guys to imagine, right? Standing on stage in front of 10,000 people who came specifically to watch someone get embarrassed, right? There was instant rebuttals, stage presence, voice power and stamina, quick comedic humiliation. They had to improvise on their feet right there, moment to moment control. This is why Ninja Man is remembered like a clash general. That's what he's called, right? Now, these are findable examples that you, Fire Nation, can look up. Ninja Man versus Shabaran, Sting 1990. I watched that, right? That is regularly referenced as a landmark clash that signaled Ninja's rise. And then there was Ninja versus Supercat. This one hurt my heart because Supercat was my crush, even though I was so young, right? Right? Is another historic clash that gets cited in Sting. The Sting timeline, sorry, and retrospectives. I'm just remembering what I was watching, right? So, um, right. So, right. His clash was environment driven, right? Right. So before Sting became televised and commercialized, remember that it wasn't always. Clash culture came from sound system rivalry, street dances, territorial dominance, selector versus selector wars, and dancer war know about that, right? And toasters proving superiority, right? As I said, the culture was built around the verbal dueling, the back and forth, the call and answer, which, by the way, is from our African tradition. You guys look it up, right? There was reputation defense, right? Clash was not content. It's not like how we look at it now and we think about the better line and think about what it mean and oh my God, it mean that. Oh my God, what are this? It was not content. It was survival and prestige, and Ninja rose in that system, right? Basically, the Sting Arena was a gladiator pit. That's what came to my mind, right? It was tension, right? no digital redemption app, and no spin rooms, right? So that means Ninja's skill set had to include the volume of the voice, in stamina, him have to be stamina, right? The physical intimidation, quick insult generation, crowd psychology manipulation. This is all the things that this is why star and superstar are superstar. And if you think about it, a lot of the artists from back in the day, right, from the 90s, right? A lot of them, they value the stage presence or the stage performance because that is the era that they grew up in. We're going to talk about that. It wasn't enough to just write good lyrics. You had to dominate human energy, right? A lot of them, as I said, stage pacing, voice projection, right? There was less reliance on a pre-released diss track. It was mic to mic combat. If someone disrespected you, you respond in real time. That's one of my mottos. Deal with it right there. I don't wait. Right? This makes Ninja Clash strength, environmental mastery, and he mastered unpredictability. These are facts, right? So we talked about that. We're gonna go into the Cartel's era soon. Now, in that era, clashing wasn't mainly about who had the deepest pen. Cartel has the deepest pen. It was who can control the room with a mic in real time. So Ninja's greatness is real, but its greatness is specific clash format, right? Specific, right? Good. Yeah. So the crowd was the algorithm. I want you to think about this. The crowd at Sting, that was the algorithm. Before YouTube, before all of this thing, just like what Dancehall was just saying, the crowd was the algorithm. Before YouTube, the only replay
Yeah,
was who people talk about afterwards, what the crowd remembered,
yeah,
how the
man.
sounds, yeah, and how the sound system culture validated you,
Yeah,
right?
man. A winner was decided right there. Yeah,
Right
man.
there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right
Mm-hmm.
there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Billboard Stings anniversary piece, you guys can look it up,
Mm-hmm.
recounts how volatile the physical the Sting environment could get, including the infamous audience incident that we don't need to rehash. Everybody know, you can look it up. That underscores how raw and immediate the Clash arena was. Now, what we're going to go into now is the Clash evolved. A lot of people, that's why I don't like when people just group everything together like they're talking about the same thing. We have to always remember the timeline and the changes that happen in the timeline. And, I don't tell people what to think. I try to impart how it is best to think when you're thinking about something, when you're picking it apart, right? There's who said it? I think it was Aristotle that said this. Always listen twice. Once to what was said, and secondly to who said it. Always consider the source, always consider the time, always consider when it was written, right? So the clash, as you think about it, think about the different time. Think about what we relied on at that time. Think about what we have now. It's a different ball game. So you can't group everything and say, oh, this one was a better clash artist than this one. It was a different time, it was a different sport, right? Even though it was the same game, right? Now, Fire Nation, the evolution of Clash. Now imagine that same Clash moment living forever online. What happens, Fire Nation, when the whole world can replay the battle? The rules change. The rules change. Now, audience, I want to ask you something. Is the most powerful diss the one that shocks the room or the one that people repeat for years? Once clashes live forever online, does the artist have to think more like a strategist? I'm sorry, more like a strategist than a performer? Clash did not stay still. It changed because the media environment changed. The business incentives changed. The fan experience changed. And the meaning of winning actually did change as well, right? The clashing moved from being mostly a live event to being a replayed artifact. This may be the single most important structural change. In Ninja's strongest period, a clash was overwhelmingly judged in the venue. Later, especially in the 2000s, the clash increasingly lived beyond the venue. online. Then there was DVD circulations. So there was online discussion, there was replay culture, the fan forums, like what Dancer was saying, the blogs, the YouTube era memory, the quote extraction. Once a clash can be replayed, the type of artist who benefits most changes, because now we're looking more for lyric, and now we're looking more for psychological. Is more of a psychological battle, and the lyrics and how you diss them. So it's a different ball game, right? Now it matters whether your lines age well. Now it matters whether they are quotable. Now it matters whether listeners catches your subtleties on second listen. Like a lot of people we always hear, they say, "Oh, I listen to Cartel song and then I listen to it and I say, oh my goodness, that's what he meant. Oh my, that's funny," right? It matters whether you're discreated long-term narratives, right? That is a completely different pressure system from own the room tonight and own it now, right? I did a post of it. I didn't realize, right? So now the audience, as time went on with the evolution of Clash, the audience stopped being the only crowd in front of you. This is huge. This is huge, Fire Nation. In Ninja's era, the crowd was mostly local and immediate. In Cartel's era, the audience became layered, right? The island-wide audience, the diaspora audience, the media commentators, the internet debaters, the future viewers who will revisit the clash later. So you say YouTube affect everybody's business now, and a lot of people don't know that, right? YouTube and a lot of these technological advancements affected everybody's business, right? The audience stopped being only the crowd in front of you. So the artist now is no longer only performing for people in the present. He is also performing for memory, mythology, fandom, identity politics, and future citation, right? Right? So that's where the value of the line increased. The value of the bars, where we always say bars, it's increased, right? Older clash could be won through force of presence. Later clash increasingly required lines that travel. A line that travels does several things. It survives outside of the event. It becomes repeatable. It creates fan slogans. It strengthens brand identity, and it humiliates the opponent in absentia. In other words, it humiliates the opponent even while he's not there, right? Dancehall War, what do you have to say about that section?
Yeah, man. You say the clash evolve, right?
Yeah,
Over
yeah,
over each era. You don't
yeah,
know from the 70s and the 80s. You don't know you have live street dance and them thing that select and DJ them a battle the crowd reaction, decide the winner. You see me?
yeah,
90s to 2000. You don't know we have Ninjaman, Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. You see me? I say
yeah,
them become icons in the clash. You see me? I say great
yeah,
clash artists them. You see me? I say them time the event start being recorded and sold on VHS, CD, and you don't know DVD. And
yeah.
now in the internet YouTube era. You see me? I
Yes,
say club clashes now spread through. You don't know YouTube, Instagram, the blogs. You see me?
yes,
I say so
yeah,
it reach a wider audience. No, you know what I mean? Because you have a
exactly.
lot of online commentators and a
Mhm.
lot of platforms where discuss it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, man.
And they're breaking apart little parts of the song. Like
Yeah,
even when
man.
I talk to some of, like, gosh, let me not say it because people always say that I'm massacre. But
So what you want some?
I'm just even when I talk to like some of the Gaza nation, I like with the talk and they laugh and they will say, "Yeah, man, plug in and plug out." Everybody remembers that line from Family, right? With everything
Yeah,
that
man.
happened. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Everybody remember certain lines, and everybody remember certain of Massacre's line too. So the it changed. The quotables became the quotables became important. And this show you that Cartel's genius, though. We're gonna talk. This matters enormously. The change that happened in technology, and as you say, all the changes that you listed, dancehall war, mattered enormously to Cartel, because Cartel's genius was not just confrontation, it was turning confrontation into portable language.
Yeah.
That is why the later era like some of the younger people right now, they favor artists who can create quotables, layered insults, identity markers, and psychologically sticky phrasing. You see what I'm saying? Things that mess up their mindset, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it moved from Ninja intimidating with them presence and just standing up there and everybody reeling, right? To
Yep.
my God, I can't believe him say this. My goodness, right? Right? So this is where your business of dance, this is where the business of dancer and angle becomes powerful. Because once media and fandom expanded, Clash was no longer only combat. It became brand positioning. It became camp building. It became loyalty cultivation. These are facts as it is right now. That's why we have so many camps, even in the YouTube streams. When you know what I mean, people will just hate you because of who you like, right?
Yep.
Madness, but that is a part of the culture, right? And then you have people who more balance, right? So that it just comes with the territory. You just have to deal with it, right? Now, here's the damn, I made the poster. Why did I not delete that slide? I need to get better at that. Right. So there is symbolic merchandising of the identity. By the 2000s, a clash could reinforce a whole ecosystem around the artist. The best example here is not just any one line, it is the largest shift visible around later Sting culture, and especially the period culminating in Cartel's 2008 Sting with Movado, which is widely treated as a landmark in rivalry driven fan identity. Gully and Gaza, fan identity, reputation architecture. So, Dancehall Mag's 2024 retrospective highlights, it highlights the Cartel 2003 Ninja Clash as his first major Sting appearance, and it identifies the 2008 Movada showdown as another major Sting moment, whose results still remain debated. Right? People still don't know, or people still have different ideas of who won that clash and why. Right? But what does this tell you, Gaza Nation? Think with me here. This tells you something important. By Cartel's era came, Clash was no longer just who was better in the room. It was also who controls the story, who recruits loyalty, who turns conflict into mythology. That is a different art form. That's why you find when they go clash, sometimes they travel with a whole bag of them people, right? Right? They want who recruits loyalty. You understand what I'm saying? No, right? Again, in earlier clash culture, the aura of danger could enhance the prestige. But dancehall became more mediated, and because of the fact that it became more visible, because it became more visible to the broader publics, the physical breakdowns became more damaging to the event's viability and image. So people were kind of sticking up their nose at it when it came on to commerciality because of all the violence that was going on, the throwing of the buckles, the fights, the gun, the knives, right? 2003 is a perfect case study. Dancehall Mag, again, you guys look it up. Dancehall Mag reports that Mr. Leng, right? He later threw them under the bus. That's what I'm going to call it because, I'm not going to say it more. But he called the Cartel Ninja fight the lowest point in Sting's history. And he said it made him reluctant to stage clashes again for about 5 years. This is what he said. I'm just quoting what he said. I'm not saying that I believe it 100%, right? The same piece, quote Donna Hope, that same lady, distinguishing between performative violence as spectacle and violence for violence sake, which was very socially damaging to the Sting and to the clash culture, right? Right? That means the culture itself was hitting a boundary because everything was being recorded and televised, right? The culture itself was hitting a different boundary. Raw confrontation made clash exciting. I love that. I love that. That's my thing. But the actual physical collapse made it commercially risky. So guess what happens when that happens in any industry, people? Evolution is inevitable. Not only with the technology that is there, but with the high risk to what's going on with people's bodies and it being commercially risky. These are facts, right? So now the form had to become more controlled. It had to become more strategic, more replayable, and more marketable. Now, Dancehall War, is there anything at all that you want to add in or you want to ask the people? Let me big up people in the chat. Big up Jabless 080, Real Men's Disputed, up, everybody up. States, big up, big up. Prince Anthony, Fully Gaza, big up, big up, big up everybody. We're gonna open the floor and then you can have back and forth with us, and Dancehall War has some questions, and you know, however he wants the floor to go. So Dancehall
Yeah,
War, is
man.
there anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, man. So we talk about cartel. Cartel, you know. So you don't know. During cartel clash era, you have lyrical battles become more strategic. Is me I
Yes,
say?
yes,
And so, is me and connected to branding. Cartel helps transform clashes from simple stage battles to cultural movements and fan rivalry. Cause you know, say, I kind of this how the rivalry really start.
yes,
The the
yes,
the, the, the Mavado and Vybz Kartel feud. I lead up to now where you see everybody split way, you know. Although you don't know, Alliance did start it one at a time from Alliance
yeah,
start group up, you know. But you
yeah,
don't know the key changes in the Clash era, lyrical warfare through music. You see me I
yes,
say? You don't know clashes are no longer on stage. You see me I say them release these songs and rhythms start getting the rivals. You
yeah,
see me I say? But you don't know the thing go. The fans and the movement. You see me, the camp them and the movement. Rivalry create strong fan group like Gully and Gaza. You see me?
yes.
So you don't know Clash. If you don't notice, you know, who have the biggest fan base, you know, at the matter was really war, you know. You see me, I say?
Yeah,
At them, you see me, Beanie Man and Bunty, giants in a dancehall, Vybz Kartel and Movado, giants,
yeah,
Ninja. You don't know I'm a the war champion, you know, them man they win the most clash in a dancehall, you know. Dominate the stage, you see me, I say? So you don't know.
yeah. Facts,
So,
100% facts.
but you don't know, we as bloggers, and you don't know the people them with on social media we talk about it. You see me, we play a major part in it too. You see me, I say, cause we spread it out there when we are talk about it every day. No, we alone, you know. Everybody we dep on the internet and talk about it. Cause if I war if it start right now, everybody I go talk about it. So me feel this era is a good era, cause I just say you go.
Yeah.
Go through Miss Blue Fire. You don't
Yeah,
know
no,
it.
no, no, 100%. Everything that you say, 100%, 100%. So
Big
at
up
some
people in my
point,
chat. True.
hmm,
See the people in what you get
yeah,
the
we
link.
want to call in, but we want to go further in the lesson, and then we can call in so we can have the conversation. We soon finish. We're almost halfway. So I want us me and dance our, and then after we allow people up, and then we can have the discussion. Unless dance our, what do you want? You want it that way, or you want to
No,
let me
no, let's
know
do
and
it your
continue?
way.
Okay.
You're sure,
Good.
I'm just I guess you know, Miss
Okay.
Bluefire.
No, I understand, but I mean,
So
your input is valued. If it wasn't, I
yeah,
wouldn't ask you to be here. I'm learning.
yeah.
Okay, I learned from you too. You've been at it longer than me. You understand, and you do a good job manning your platform. So I learn from people. Now, at some point, clash stopped being only a moment. It started becoming a memory. As we said, and Dancehall War said, technology changed everything. Once clashes could be recorded, replayed, shared, and analyzed, the game began to shift. Now the crowd in the room was no longer the only audience. The audience became global, and suddenly a line could live forever. A disc could be replayed 1,000 times, and fans could pause a performance, dissect it, debate it, and turn it into legend. And that kind of environment rewards a different type of warrior. These are facts. Now, by Cartel's era, to dominate a clash, the winner's toolkit expanded. The environment sorry, to win to dominate a clash environment, you increasingly needed pen strength, persona management, stamina in the public rivalry. You can't just stop. That's why our generation, we cannot stand when people start a clash and it done after 2 songs or after 4 songs. We're like, where's the clash? Stamina in public rivalry. That's important to us. But does that mean that our generation is the most important? We're gonna deal with that. Fan base activation. Right now, this is what's going on. Symbolic language, right? Media survivability, your interviews and how you handle those. This is not less than Ninja's toolkit. People, it's just a different toolkit, right? Think of it this way. Ninja's era rewarded the combat performer. Cartel's era rewarded the combat strategist. Completely different. Now, the cultural milling of skill got more complicated, right? The earlier eras, they often privileged visible command, but the later eras made invisible skills more important. What are those invisible skills? The framing, the narrative traps. This is very important. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people are when you hear them on the YouTube streets vexed with massacre, right? A lot of people are, because of the narrative that they place around it, and they placed a narrative around him for him to fall into. It's a part of the war. I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong, but it happens to every artist, right? The psychological destabilization, which he attempted to do as well. The delayed impact, the identity coding. So now the audience could say, wait, on first listen, I missed that line. Karate, him actually call him that? Oh my goodness, that's so terrible. That kind of delayed appreciation benefits a different type of artist, right? No. And this is why people, that cross era comparison fails, because media changed the battlefield, right? DVD circulated, the internet forums were emerging, YouTube later archived performances permanently, Clash moved from moment to record, right? When things live forever, the strategy changes. So, from physical energy to intellectual dissection, these are facts. That's why, too, we want, and people of dancehall wars generation want to see the Clash artists them go on a stage, but that might not be suitable for their generation. We have to be fair. We might want it because we are in love with it, because we grew up with it, and that is our first experience. But you have to think about the younger generation, and we have to start to see things from their eyes as well, right?
Yeah,
And
them you know, cut to Miss Julie, them artists and nowadays, them just coward, you know. The artists them back in ideas did more brave, and you know,
yeah,
too much badness in this era. I just that's why when I go really see them on stage. That's
exactly.
how we used to see Ninja and being in them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Mhm.
And not only that, but how they grew up too with this anti-bullying and that type of, I call it foolishness type of thing, but I should be more diplomatic than that, right? And this the softness of them. But you know what? They have their own hardship, so I don't want to judge them too badly. But you're right, 100% right. So
Mhm.
now, in this era, you must craft lines for replay. You must think about quotables. You must anticipate the breakdown culture, because people are going to break down your lines and analyze it and say, what kind of foolish is that? What line that? What I mean, just try a rhyme? That don't make no sense, right? We all hear the discussions. We pick these clashes apart, right? This is the era where Vybz Kartel emerged. Cartel's environment required linguistic layering, which is very good at, psychological insults, which he's excellent at, strategic persona building, which he is excellent at, and long form rivalry narratives, which he's also excellent at. The narrative matter, and you guys know that, especially as bloggers, you cannot deny the fact that narratives matter. Guess what? It doesn't only matter in dancehall. Put it across other industry. It matters in politics, right? It matters in sports, right? That's why there are so many NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. Certain things you cannot say because people will sue you. You understand what I'm saying? So narrative, and the narrative that you should, and even with business, the narrative is very, very important. That's why business people do not play when they will sue you in a second when it come on to their reputation. You know why? Because any business person that is worth their salt, that has been in business for over 10 years, knows that you must own and control your own narrative. So it's best for you to, if you're a good person, just be yourself. Because there's no pretending. You understand? Because one day it's going to slip. Now, right? Ninja's era, right? Immediate reaction equals the victory, right? Carter's era, the delayed recognition equals the victory, right? Delayed recognition equals to victory. A bar might not explode instantly, but days later, people are quoting it online. People are like, wait, what did he say? Oh my God. That was terrible, right? So an analyzable culture, guess what it favors, people? It favors writers. It favors writers. That's why the pen is so much more important now. Not saying that it wasn't important then in dancehall, it definitely was, right? 5 and 4 and 9 and with the one make 10. Those things, it was catchy, it was good. You understand? But now it's less about rhyming, right? And you even hear some of the bloggers who know music, when they're cursing something, them say, just a nursery rhyme, man, ABC. You know what I mean? Because their ear has changed, their taste has changed, right? In the 90s, the Clash built reputation. In the 2000s, the Clash built brands. Gaza versus Gully. That era proved this. The feud became identity, merchandising, the loyalty system, right? Clash became scalable now. This, my friends, that is evolution, right? Also, by the 2000s, the diaspora audiences, they expanded because people start move, people start travel. You know, before some people used to go England and people used to say, oh, only my people go England. I don't know, right? Certain things like that, right? But now the diaspora audiences, they expanded because dancehall started to even with Shabba, after Shabba and Champal, it started to expand, it started to move, right? The international forums discuss the clashes, right? So the cultural export became measurable, and we still have not been able to, make our proper profit off of our cultural export, which is our dancehall, which is why I have the Business of Dancehall channel, right? To put some respect on our dancehall culture and make people start to see dancehall as the business that it is, that everybody else recognize, except for the people in it, some of the people, right? So now Clash entered the global discourse, right? That was the wrong picture for that, right? That changes the way one writes, and it changes the way the person performs, okay? If a clash moment, this is something that I want you, my Fire Nation people, to think about. If a clash moment lives forever on YouTube, does the smartest line sometimes become more powerful than the loudest moment? Duh, clearly. That was a simple one, right? Now, this is the evolution in simple terms. I made a chart for the visual learners because I want you to think about the evolution of the clash. In Ninja's era, there was the mic strength, survival instinct, the crowd conquest, the immediate dominance. In Cartel's era, it's the psychological dismantling, the brand warfare, the narrative construction, and the replay mastery. Neither one invalidates the other. They are reflections of their time. People, the time changed, the game evolved. These are facts, just like basketball, just like football. Sometimes you look at some of them old basketball videos and you see the man them in some little short shots and you're like, how the hell how them jumped in that? And you see that the way how they used to beat up each other. Nowadays, one little lick, the man just flap himself on the floor and pretend like it's a foul, right? You see the difference. It was more ruthless back then, right? Now, of course, because I love business, I tied it into business. Now, here is something I want you in the chat to think about, because my Fire Nation people are thinkers, right? They don't get impressed by people trying to sound brilliant or trying to sound like they're educated or trying to sound like they're uptown and enunciating every word and trying to sound like they are intelligent and being aggressive. My people, we don't fall for that foolishness. We listen to what the person is saying and we pick it apart to see if it makes sense. Right? Exactly. Now, this is what I want you to think about as a business. This is the deeper business lesson. When markets evolve, Fire Nation, the dominant skill set shifts. These are facts. That's why a lot of industries go tuck, right? They die. That's why, right? When was the last time you found a cobbler? That died, didn't it? A lot of other industries are out the door soon because AI is replacing them, because technology is replacing them, right? Businesses that win in the physical retail area, a lot of them struggle in the e-commerce era. These are facts. I know them. Let me say that again. Businesses that win in the physical retail era, having a storefront, right? And in them community, everybody knowing them come and them shop, that might struggle in the e-commerce area. People might not buy from them online. These are facts. Artists that dominated sound system culture, they may not automatically dominate digital era metrics. These are facts. Not saying that he wouldn't, but we don't know because it's been locked up. This is not about superiority. It's about adaptation to your environment. And you have to evolve or you're going to die. Here's another thing I want the chat to. Oh my goodness, I made a poster for it too and I forgot. Sorry, guys. What I do is like I write it out, I edit it, then I see if I can make a poster, I add the posters, and then sometimes I forget that I actually have, I don't delete all the things. So I apologize for that, right? So listen, I want you to know something. The evolution of Clash did not erase the old style. It layered new expectations on top of it. Now the Clash artists, they had to do more than survive the night. They had to survive the history. They had to deliver the lines that would travel. They had to build the rivalries that would fuel the conversation, right? And that is the kind of battlefield where a different kind of artist begins to thrive. Fire Nation, I'm going to ask you something uncomfortable because you know we deal with the truth over here. The problem with the ninja would destroy cartel debate is it's the problem with it is that it exposes how most people don't understand evolution. You are trying to judge a 1990 battlefield with a 2020 scoring card. Ninjaman was built for live war arena. No replay, no rewind, no YouTube forensic breakdown. Vybz Kartel came up in a psychological era where one line can live forever online. So here's the real question. Are we arguing skill or are we confusing nostalgia with measurement? Think about what I'm saying. For a lot of us, that era we love it so much, maybe because it was our first experience. No, everybody remembers their first kiss. If it was pleasant, right? And they have the nostalgia of it, right? And there are also studies that say that when you like something in the past, you multiply how much you liked it as the years go by. There are studies that show that, right? But because the battlefield changes, the weapons also have to change, right? So tonight, don't confuse this. We're not doing fan talk. We're doing structural talk, right? So now we are going to mature the culture. Dance War, is there anything else that you want to add? Okay, and probably step away. Now, this is where the conversation becomes interesting, right? Because the clash environment that produced Vybz Kartel, as we said before many times, is not the same one that produced Ninjaman, right? Right? Kartel understood something crucial about this new environment. He understands the replay era. Words can travel farther than presence. Okay? Kartel's clash weapon is not only aggression, it's also strategy. He crafts lines that fans will repeat for years. He built identities that followers would defend. These are facts. He turned rivalry into mythology. So while Ninja conquered the room, Kartel conquers the narrative. And once you understand that distinction, Fire Nation, you begin to see why comparing them directly is very complicated to do, right? And it's not giving them their due. Okay? It's not. So, why does these debates get so heated? Why do fans argue so passionately about who would destroy who? Because people are not only defending their artists, they're defending the era that shaped their understanding of greatness. It's facts. Older fans, and I've actually asked, I did a little investigation for myself. Older fans often value the presence, the power, the immediate domination. They love the stage performance, right? Younger audiences, however, they value the lyrical complexity, the psychological warfare, and the replay value. Both of those value systems, they make sense. But I want you to understand that they measure different things. So we need to mature the conversation, right? When you hear people say Ninjaman would destroy Kartel, what they're really doing is confusing the eras. Ninjaman was a war general, as we were just saying, in a live battlefield. There's no replay, no internet, no think pieces. The crowd judge you in real time. If they booed you, you're dead right there. The clash culture rewarded volume, stamina, intimidation, and crowd control. But by the time Vybz Kartel rose, the clash evolved. Now your diss lives forever. Now fans dissect your bars. Now every line can trend globally. So the weapon changed. The Ninja, as we said, mastered the live mic warfare. Kartel mastered the lyrical, psychological warfare. One dominate the room, the other dominate the narrative and the pen. And Fire Nation, listen carefully. You cannot grade a Formula One driver by horse racing rules. I'm going to say that again. You cannot grade a Formula One driver, the race car people, by horse racing rules. The battlefield shifted. The scoring system clearly changed. The audience, because of the diaspora, because of the media, it expanded. So the intelligent question is not who destroyed who. The real question, Fire Nation, is who mastered the rules of their era? And when you frame it like that, you stop arguing emotionally and you start analyzing like we are doing today culturally. Right? Good. Now, let's see. We talked about that. Julia, you wrote too much about that again, as usual. And this picture is in the wrong place. 1 second, guys. Right? Now, here's the final question for you. If the battlefield changes, should we expect the weapons to stay the same? Or do new champions rise because they understand the new battlefield better? That happens a lot. Right? That happens a whole lot. Right? Let's see. Yeah. So in 2021, the Dance Hall Mag revisited the context around Sting 2003 and how that clash ended up happening, including the story that Kartel stepped in as a younger force in the clash politics. Remember, at that time too, this is a turning point, right? Because we were still in the old era, but going more into the new era. So the evolution was happening right when he was there, right in the crux, right? Kartel was operating in a clash world where the performance lives forever, right? And reputation becomes internet cement, right? So we talked about that. It could become strategy, the pen, right? Calculated disrespect, right? And brand economy, right? But by 2008, you get the famous Kartel versus Mavado clash at Sting. And it's described not just as entertainment, but as a cultural format with influence beyond Jamaica. right? That article frames it like a heritage clash. You guys can look up that article, right? And it points out how that format influenced broader clash culture, even outside of dancehall. You guys look it up, it's very interesting. Okay? Kartel as a strategist, he's not a weaker warrior. Okay? Kartel's era, it was his clash is the storyline and the ecosystem. The mistake that many people make when discussing clash is assuming that loudness equals strength. It does not. But warfare evolves. And when the warfare evolves, the best fighters are not always the strongest. They are the most strategic. And Kartel represents the strategist model of clash warfare. Okay? Kartel's approach to rivalry often involve precision targeting rather than blanket aggression. These are facts, right? He's very smart, very witty, okay, especially with the pen. Okay, one day I'm going to break down his writing style, right? Instead of attacking randomly, he frequently focuses on opponents' perceived weakness, repeated specific narratives, right, to drive it home, created identity labels for opponents, right, and turn those labels into cultural shorthand. So once the narratives stick on you, you know, the fans, his Gaza fans, repeated it for him. That is strategic warfare, right? A lot of people don't know what it is that they're doing or what it is that they're a part of. That is strategic warfare. Now, in traditional battle theory, right, even in chess, it's called psychological destabilization. So, a lot of things that even you guys do on the media, sometimes I laugh because I enjoy it, right? Right? I don't want to say Massacre that I think he's a talented artist. I used to listen to all of his songs, but all of his poetry, all of them, I run to them every morning, right? But it just so happened, right? Like even now, there's some kind of psychological destabilization where people would be there saying, "Oh, fighting him, the system fighting him," and you know, whether it's true or not, right? That's not the point. The point is, whenever you start to see a fan base start to complaining about the treatment of their artists, that is psychological destabilization. These are facts. Look it up. So sometimes when I hear everybody talking and stuff, I say to myself, I wonder if they know that they're a big part of this puzzle. You know what I mean? And it's so interesting to watch because I love my culture. I love my Jamaican artists. I love dancehall, right? I really do think that, if things start to go right, Massacre can actually elevate himself. Again, you understand? Everybody have a different journey. Though Kartel is my artist, I tell you nothing but truth. These are facts. And this is one of the reasons why, because of the type of culture that we're in right now, right? People jumping on to say, oh, if he actually had a ghostwriter for those writers, it's really damaging. Reason being is because right now dancehall favors the pen. If we see you as a lyricist and a lyrical genius, we favor that, right? It has become more important, right? And it was a slow evolution. Okay, these are facts, right? So that is psychological destabilization. So sometimes I listen to you guys and I'm like, I wonder if you know how smart he is. I wonder if he know what he's doing. I wonder if he knows what he's actually a part of. I wonder if they can zoom out and see the big picture. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's easy for me to keep neutral and just tell you facts, right? Because I can zoom out and see the bigger picture for what it is, even though Kartel is my artist because of how he conduct himself since he came out. I'm that type of person, right? Right. So then there's some people who, because they see on a channel, they feel like you groupthink or you are like the people, are like the worst of that channel, right? Which is just lack of thinking and lack of intelligence, just lazy thinking. We don't do lazy thinking over here. We actually listen to what people say, pick it apart. If it makes sense, if it doesn't, we challenge it. Simple. We don't go off of feelings. And we don't have to try to sound like as if we're intelligent and over pronounce our words or try to sound like we're uptown. We don't do that. right? People who are really educated, they don't have to try to sound educated. People who are really uptown, if that's something that you see as a big achievement, don't have to try to sound that way. You can hear different nuances. You can hear how people grow up and how people really grow up, and you can actually hear what people have been exposed to, right? But more than anything, you can hear the intelligence in reasoning. So you need to be humble enough to be able to listen to these people on the platform, because a lot of times they have a lot of deep wisdom. Not because they're not poetic, not because they don't sound as polished as you. Listen to what they're saying. It's a gold mine. Trust me. Right? So again, um, that is what Cartel did. Hold on a second. Where you been, Julia? No, no. I can't do this. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So the opponent is forced to fight not only the artist, but also the perception created around them. Number two, linguistic engineering. That means, engineering the language. Cartel understood something critical about the evolving music landscape, right? Lines that travel are more powerful than moments that explode. Think about it. Think about it. He crafted phrases that were easy to quote, easy to repeat, culturally sticky, and emotionally charged. When fans repeat a line 1,000 times, the artist has essentially outsourced the clash to the audience, right? That is why what when you hear the battle and you hear on the lives and stuff, is the audience now clashing. You understand what I'm saying, right? That is a strategic multiplier. Okay, right. The narrative control. This is, and you know that this is very important now. That's why even now some people are upset at Massacre, or even upset at Cartel, because of the narrative around them and around what happened in the clash. Hold a second. That's a word. Yes. Let me see what I'm saying. I think he. 1 second, guys. Let me see. Hey, I got knocked off admin. Okay, I'm gonna add you now. Sorry. 1 second. Let me look back at StreamYard. Okay, I see you. Add to stage. Are you there?
Yeah, man, I don't know what happened or look a while, But you
Oh, I
know, say
don't
you
know.
not pay attention to his stream, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
No, it's good, man.
because I'm still learning how to handle it, right? So,
Yeah.
State had given me a point to actually have a screen where I can see the chat, so I have that. But I can't see when you were actually trying to come on a while ago. I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to do that better as I continue.
All right.
Um, yeah. Thank you for that. I'm sorry for keep you waiting backstage.
No, man, I just say with
Okay.
Julie, man. But they I didn't listen, man.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So,
Mm.
cartels' rivalries often operated as long-form stories. A clash was not always a one-night battle. It became the interviews, the songs, the stage performances, the media discussions, the fan debates. In other words, the rivalry became a storyline of itself. It became a storyline ecosystem, right? Once that happens, the artist who controls the storyline gains the power, right? And when they gain that power, the other artists and their fans go through psychological destabilization, right? Right. That's why I always say, don't enter a war and then cry about it. Don't enter the war then. Okay? These are facts, right? So this is the same principle, people, if you think about it, that is used in modern politics. This same principle that's used in marketing and media. Narrative control shapes public perception, and that is why business people will sue your ass, excuse my language, right? If you mess with their name in public, because they've spent time build their brand. You can keep your opinions to yourself, but once you say something about that person with no proof, you're going to get a cease and desist letter. Then after that, don't matter if you have money or not, your car, your house, your children funds, and you think that people are soft-hearted, that's fine, but the person's lawyer might not be soft-hearted. So this is why you need to be careful. And this is why even business people are, this is why they're NDAs. You can't say anything about what happens at this party unless a crime happens. NDAs don't cover crimes. right? Right? Because you have to shape the narrative. You, as a business owner, any business owner, as I said before, that is worth their salt, knows that they must control and own their narrative. The best way to do that is to just be genuine and stand up to what it is that you think and what it is that you say. Right? Good. Now, your strategic identity building. Let me say why this is important. The narratives control and shapes your public perception. I want you to keep that. The narrative controls and shapes public perception. So even like a while ago, I was saying, a lot of people saying massacre team balling. That is public perception. Maybe they don't see it that way, but that is the narrative that is going on. Then you hear there's another narrative. Oh, oh, him don't have a songwriter, right? And then most intelligent people are saying, let's just wait and see, because this girl was clearly a troublemaker. But let's wait for the proof. But if the proof come out that such is such, it is very damaging. Why? Because right now, in this era, dancehall really, really, really favors the pen and the psychological thinking. Especially if you say a part of your brand is being a great lyricist. These are facts. So I don't wish bad on anybody, because that is the first step to black magic, right? Should never ever wish bad on anybody, right? I really do hope that he is the writer, but if he's not, and I will say it again, as I said it before, it is very damaging. Okay, good, right? Now, is strategic identity building. Cartel also recognized the importance of fan identity, right? He helped create environments where fans did not simply like the music, they identify with the moment. We talked about that before with the fandoms, right? Once your identity became involved, the rivalry became tribal. Agas, I'm gonna say. These are facts, right? And tribal loyalty dramatically increases the engagement. That's why there's so much engagement online. It's like a buzz. You understand? If I didn't have to work so hard and so long, I think I would be sucked into YouTube probably 8 hours a day. You understand? Because it's just always something going on, right? Right? These are facts, right? And it's fun for me, right? And the tribal loyalty, it it increases engagement. But this type of strategy, it did not exist in the same form during earlier clash eras. It reflects a more modern understanding of brand psychology. And this all happens with the technological um, change. I put the picture in the wrong place again. Let me say hi to people in the chat. Big up Trey, big up Teddy Williams, big up Toran Smith, big up Giant Winter, big up. Good to see you. Good to see you, my Fire Nation brother. You see, this is a person who, big up to see you, right? Oh, big up the real guys, Uncle. Blessings, blessings. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time to be here. Dean Marshall, big up, and thanks for the same flame. That's okay if you're late for class. You can go back on the replay, right? And soon we're going to drop the link, Ray J, because Dancer War have questions and he's going to man the rest of it. We soon finish. We soon finish. Let me just run through these. Then you guys can call in. We can discuss. We can debate all of that, right? Good. Now, Sting 2003. This was a symbolic transition, and I want you to stay with me here, right? In 2003 was one of the most revealing moments in dancehall history. Not simply because of the clash itself, but because of what it symbolized. It represented a moment where two clash cultures collided, the old and the new. And let me tell you something. When I went back and watched it, I said, Jesus, I said, you're right, oh my God, this is the symbolic transition right here. Right? On that stage, you had an established veteran of the traditional clash order. And then you had the younger artist Cartel representing the next phase of the culture. Okay? Remember, it was supposed to be him and Bounty Killer, Ninja and Bounty Killer, and then Vybz Kartel went up there. Right? Brave YF. Right? Brave. Narrative control shapes the public perception. Right? No, past the 30. Sorry. Next one, Julia. La 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 la. Yeah, next one. Right. So Sting 2003, there was a symbolic crossover moment. Why? 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 Why did it happen? Because it was originally framed as Ninjaman versus Bounty Killer, right? And Vybz Kartel entered as the younger combatant. Here's the turning point. The clash with Ninja became physical, right? And that was seen as a turning point. And according to Len, embarrassment for Sting, according to him, right? No disrespect. But again, we deal with facts and we understand narratives. So we pick apart things and we look at where it might be coming from. Remember what I told you that was it Epicurus that said it? Or was it Seneca that said, listen twice. Listen first to what was said, then consider who said it. Always consider the source, where it come from, what where the information come from, right? Etc. etc. That's why I always give you the information and say look it up on yourself and form your own conclusion, right? So this created tension that went beyond the lyrical exchange, right? It was a symbol of a broader shift. Why would you write it was a symbolic of a broader shift? That's not English. It was a symbol of a broader shift, and you can't even change it. Sorry, guys, right? Old guard versus emerging style, right? Whenever cultures evolve, these moments happen. We see it in sports, guys. We see it in film. We see it in politics, right? These are facts. Go and look it up for yourself. The principle is true because it can be used against different industries and different settings. Okay? That clash format, it reached a breaking point because of the physical confrontation, right? The confrontation, it also highlighted why it needed to evolve because it highlighted the limitations of the older clash format. The live rivalry had always carried the potential for escalation. But as dancehall events became more visible and commercially important, the industry had to confront a serious question. How do you maintain the excitement of rivalry without allowing the event to become unstable? You think not giving buckles is enough? Only plastic buckles, you think that's enough? Jamaican people will buckle you with anything. They pick up a stone, right? This tension pushed the culture towards a more controlled form of competitive expression. And this is the culture where a lot of the young ones, the 20-year-olds, the 18, 19-year-olds, grew up in, as well as the anti-bullying and all that stuff. So we call them soft and softer, but that is the way how it happens, right? Good, right? Ninjaman's era, live compact, crowd reaction, mic dominance, as we said before, Vybz Kartel, wordplay, psychological strategy. Good. So listen, when fans argue about Ninjaman and Vybz Kartel, right? They're often talking past each other, and I listen to them. They talk past each other. They're using different scorecards, right? One is judging the ability to dominate a live arena. The other side is judging the ability to control a long-term narrative. Both of them, Fire Nation and Gaza Nation, and all the other nations that are here, both are legitimate measures of skill, but they belong to different eras. Okay? These are facts, right? Right? Are we arguing skill or are we confusing again nostalgia with measurement? A lot of times you're nostalgic to what you grew up with or your first experience of something, right? These are facts. Almost done, people. Soon finish and you can call you, right? Good. Soon finish. Okay, pass that already. And pass that already. So I want you to think about this. This is the mature conclusion. No, actually, sorry. Now we arrive at the real question. Not who is louder, not who is more legendary, but what this entire debate teaches us about evolution. Because you guys should know this, and I know you guys know this. You guys have the brains to know this. Culture does not stay still. The rules change, the battlefields change, the weapons change. The artist who dominates one era may not be the same type of artist who can dominate another era. These are facts. Just like I was telling you, the person who have a storefront may die online, right? E-commerce may not be for them, but they might have a thriving storefront, right? And vice versa. So here's the mature conclusion, because we're thinkers over here. Over here, Fire Nation, you guys, where we're going to come from, you guys are thinkers, or you wouldn't stay, right? We're not here for your comfort. We're here to pick things apart for ourselves and actually form arguments and deal with facts. So here is the mature conclusion. Ninjaman was not automatically a better clash artist than Vybz Kartel. He was a master, yes, but he was a master of that particular era, an era that rewarded live dominance, intimidation, and crowd control. Kartel mastered a different era, an era that rewarded lyrical strategy, narrative building, and psychological warfare. Different battlefields, different weapons, same dancehall culture. And when we recognize that, Fire Nation, we stop arguing emotionally and we start understanding history. That is what it's about. Now, that's our war. We're in the last segment here before we make people call in. Is there anything that you want to talk about
Yeah,
at all?
man. Yeah, man. You know, so me did want to add. Because we never talk about bias in the clash too, you know. You see me
Yeah,
I say? Because you don't know. Bias happen when the fan of an artist based on loyalty, them base them thing on loyalty instead of judging the performance. You see me I say?
yeah,
Objectively. So, for example, you don't know the Vado and Cartel clash. No matter where Cartel or Vado say, the fans them still a stick to them artists regardless. You see me
right.
I say? So,
It's facts.
yeah, man. So biasness day in the clash too. You see me I say? So, I don't know if we are going to have a true winner at the end of the day. Yeah.
That's true.
You see me?
That's facts.
But you don't know. You see me?
Facts. Because
So,
no, it's facts. It's 100% facts. It's 100%, and people remember it differently depending on where they were standing, depending on what part of the crowd they were in.
mm,
That's also facts, right? But you know what, Fire Nation, let's zoom out for a little bit, because this conversation was never about two artists. It was about the evolution.
mm,
Every era produces its own champions. Ninjaman rose in a clash culture where survival meant controlling the room, as we said before. You had to dominate the stage, command the crowd, all of that, and
mm,
make sure that you prove in real time that nobody can break your nerve, right? That
yeah,
environment
man.
required fearlessness, presence, badmanship, raw confrontation. But the culture kept moving. The technology arrived, the media changed, audiences expanded beyond the culture and beyond the venue. And in that new battlefield, a different kind of weapon became powerful. Vybz Kartel mastered the era where words travel, right? And rivalry becomes identity and narrative spread. So the lesson tonight is not that one man erased the other. The lesson is that greatness is always connected to the environment. Think about it again. Think
Mm,
about it again and think about sports. And a lot of you like basketball. Think about the back in the day with Bird, right? Think about the difference with LeBron and Michael Jordan. Think about it, right? Think about the different rules. How even right now somebody can pretend to get lick and flop. And back in the day, you see them in some little short shots, and you're one day, and then taking some serious punch and some serious. I'm like, wasn't that a foul? What the hell, right? Certain things like that, right? You see how the games evolve. I want you to think about it, right? The greatness is always connected to the environment. In business too, Fire Nation. The companies that dominate one decade, they often struggle in the next decade if they don't evolve. Not because they suddenly became incompetent. They're not incompetent, but because the rules changed. The same thing happens in culture, right? Back in the day, you can be rude to a customer, right? And nobody knows about it. Now, everybody them take out them phone and them the video is on TikTok. This person needs to be fired. Different rules now, right? The artists who survive across eras are the ones who understand the shift. They read the room, they read the market, they read the moment, right? And that is why Cartel have multi-generational fans. He was able, and he still is able to evolve, right? They adapt. The best companies adapt. So when we study dancehall history, let this be a lesson to you. We're not just studying music. That's why I keep on saying, and I will keep on saying, and I will keep on repeating, dancehall is not just about music. We're studying strategy, we're studying leadership, we're studying what it means to recognize when the battlefield changed and to evolve your weapon accordingly. I am not going to go to a gunfight with a knife. I'm sorry. I may not show you my weapons because that is smart. You read the art of war. But, right, my weapons will change accordingly depending on the battlefield and depending on who it is that I'm fighting. Right? Dominance is impressive, but adaptation is legacy. And Fire Nation, all of you who own businesses or thinking about owning businesses, if you want to build something that lasts in business or in culture or even in life, the real skill is not winning yesterday's war. Nobody gives a damn about yesterday's war. It's understanding the war that is coming next, right? That is how you win. You must evolve, right? Now, fans argue past each other because there's such a thing called nostalgia anchoring. I want you to look it up. I fell victim to this. It was through the research that I realized that, Julia, you might be suffering from this in a nostalgia anchoring. You know why? Psychologically, people often anchor their definition of excellence to an era in which they first experienced the culture. It's the same thing with like my first kiss. Oh, it was so great. If it was great, right? You're like, never forget, blah, blah, blah. Foolishness, right? But it's nostalgia anchoring. And sometimes as time passes, it becomes even more shiny because your memory is not as great as people think, right? That means older fans remember the electricity of live clashes. That's why you find when you talk to people, you can actually know their age if you them look 20 years younger, right? One of the most interesting dynamics in this debate is that fans often aren't actually disagreeing about the same thing. You guys not even talking about the same thing, right? They're operating with different definitions of greatness. And that is why I said, we have to do a live on this, because it is them grouping clash together and they're thinking that is the same scoreboard, and it's not, right? Younger audiences remember the power of replayable lyrical warfare. That's how they grew up, right? These different cultural metrics. Another factor is that each generation values different metrics. For some fans, the greatness is defined by the stage intimidation, like me, the vocal dominance, the live crowd. Come on. For other people, the younger people, the people in the 20s, right? Greatness to them is defined by the lyrical complexity. You hear them talk. I listen to them. Listen to young people. Listen to your elders, that's true. Listen to everybody. But listen to young people. They will show you a lot and it will help you to adapt, right? They listen to the lyrical complexity, the strategic rivalry, the cultural quotables. Both of these are valid metrics, but they measure different aspects of the art form. And then there is emotional identity. Fans also connect their own identity to the artist that they defend. When someone criticizes an artist, the fan may interpret that as criticism of their taste, right? A criticism of their generation or of their cultural memory, right? Right? I was talking to somebody the other day about Skipper, right? And I say, yeah, he's a good artist, but sometimes I don't really, I don't, the ear for the way the music, I don't know. I don't know if it took me a while to actually like it. Like they say, hold on, so probably two songs or so, and then I said, okay, it sounds good, but some of the words I don't really, it's like, what? How could you? It was like I commit a crime because them in them 22, right? 19 to 22, thinking that I'm criticizing their taste and their generation or their memory, right? It's the same thing when they say, what? You listen to that? What is that? They used to just do basic rhyme. We talk about 5 and 4 and 9 and with a 1 make 10. That is so stupid. But back in that day, you don't understand. You don't understand, right? This is why debates become emotional. They're rarely just talking about music. They're talking about they're defending their taste, their generation, and their memory. It's about belonging. These are facts. That's why it's so tribal on the YouTube streets, right? And comparing them is a trap, right? Now let's go into, we're almost finished talk about this. Kartel, pen and psychological strategies. His skill set is layered lyrics, branding, identity warfare, Gaza mentality, right? The clever framing, the insults that live as quotables, turning rivalry into myth and momentum. Almost finished, guys, right? So if someone says to you, oh, Ninja would destroy Kartel, like someone said to me, my reply is, in a 1990s Sting rule book, maybe. But Kartel wasn't built for that exact sport. He helped redefine the sport, right? If, no, I want you to think about it. If Ninjaman had come up in the YouTube era, do you really think he would clash the same exact way? Or would he adapt? Great artists, they usually adapt to the battlefield that they're in. Okay? Right? Now, I want to ask you this because this is something that I had to actually look at myself and say, Julia, I think you have some of that nostalgia anchoring in. Because do people usually defend the artist or the era that they grew up loving? Remember that nostalgia anchoring, right? Is our idea of greatness shaped by what we experienced first? That's the nostalgia anchoring, right? Is it possible that this debate continues because each era measures greatness differently? So we're not even talking about the same thing, right? Right? Now, I want to be clear here because I know a lot of times people like to spin narratives on YouTube, right? And say what people didn't say. We are not saying that Ninja was weak. We're not saying that Kartel beats history. We are saying the category itself changed, right? Better only makes sense if the rules stay the same. That is the first principle. If the rules of competition change, then the meaning of excellence, that also changes because there's a different response. Okay? Different response, right? So when someone says Ninja was the better Clash artist, your answer should be he was better by the standards of the Clash environment that produced him. Of course. But those standards were not eternal, they were historical. And once Clash moved into a more mediated, replayable, brand driven, psychologically analyzable format, different strengths rose in value. So the correct statement is not Ninja was better. It is Ninja mastered one form of clashing and Kartel mastered another. Ninja's power was front loaded, right? Kartel's power was often cumulative over time. This is a very strong distinction because Ninja's impact often hit you right there. In walk on stage, the whole place erupt. Didn't say a word. That moment, I love that moment so much. The presence, disruption, intimidation, crowd command, immediate degradation of his opponent just by how he look at you was an insult, right? Kartel's power often accumulated. One line, what him say, becomes a slogan later on. That is accumulated. One clash reshapes loyalty. One rivalry expands a whole fractional identity. One performance gets relitigated for years. Everybody keep going over the Mabada and Kartel clash. Who won? Over years, years, years. It still don't finish yet, right? Right? That means that Kartel style was not always about the fastest explosion. Sometimes it was about the longer burn. Sometimes, guys, you are running a race. That's true. But sometimes it's a sprint and sometimes it's long distance. You have to know the difference. Just like when I used to swim, and I still swim. When I say I swim 3 times a week. But when I used to swim competitively, right? Right? Doing a 200 meter, you're going to have to pace your breathing and your energy and your output different than when you're doing a 50 meter or even a 50 meter sprint. Right? Completely different. You have to pace yourself to make sure that you outlast. Okay? So it's a different type of warfare. And in the digital replay era, the longer burn can be just as lethal. And we know that, right? Ninja specialized in open confrontation. Kartel specialized in layered conflict. Ninja's approach fit a world where the clash was openly staged as combat. Kartel fit a world where the conflict had more dimensions, lyrical, symbolic, reputational, market facing. He could weaponize language, identity, allegiance, slogan, public narrative. That is not less clash. That is evolved clash. Okay? Kartel had to survive the event, the replay, the commentary, the fan edits, the interviews, the memory battle afterwards. Kartel era required surviving not just the opponent, but the afterlife of the clash. And that is what is going on right now. People are talking about the afterlife of the clash with Massacre and Tommy Lee. The reason why I keep bringing it up is because it's still in the air. You guys can't fight me for bringing it up. Because it's dancehall, I love it, and it's still in the air. And this is a part of the battlefield. Do not enter a battlefield unless you're ready to embrace it. These are facts. Okay? Right? That means that the later era clash artist was being judged on more fronts, not fewer. So why would we assume that makes the artist lesser? If anything, it means the artist needed a more diversified set of weapons, which he had. Right? Almost done. 2 more slides. Now, again, do we defend artists or the era where we first experienced greatness? A lot of these younger artists, they don't want to go on stage. A lot of the older men, when you hear them talk, they say, I can't perform, I can't perform. Energy. Look at you and just come out there with buckle and stuff. They grew up different. It's different. The best thing for us to do is to teach them and try to understand them. See what I'm saying? Teach them and try to understand them and let them teach you as well. Right? Good. That's what intelligence does. That's what intelligent people do. It's not people who try to sound spoken and sound like an idiot. Or people who try to sound extra intelligent and over pronunciate their words and sound like they're trying to be uptown. That's foolishness. Listen to the content of what people are saying. Okay? And that's what I want Gaza people and Fire Nation people to understand. Okay? Don't be impressed by people trying to sound a certain way. You can hear it. You can hear when it's forced. And you can hear when people are pretentious and pretending to be so smart. Listen to the content of what it is that they're saying. Are they making sense or not? Right? Don't make them try to play mind tricks on you. Okay? Dancehall has already dealt with enough snobs. We already deal with snobs in dancehall. You understand what I'm saying? People in the culture towards dancehall. Don't make them snub you on your own territory. That is what I'm saying. You have to deal with the snobbery from the wider Jamaica, right? Even my community and my from people don't like that I like dancehall. I don't care. People don't like that I like Vybz Kartel. I do not care. People didn't like that I like who I like. I don't care. Right? To quote Bounty Killer, hope he gets well soon. Like what you like. And don't like what you don't like. Never thought I would put that, but it's facts. Right? Because we deal with facts over here. So I say that to say this. Listen to people when they talk. You can learn a lot. Doesn't matter how them sound. Okay? And don't be impressed by people that try to throw off on you in your own culture. If they want to be snobs, let them move. Don't be impressed. Okay? Good. Now, right. So, Dancehall Mag, go back and read that Dancehall Mag. Right? Look it up. That reported that the planned clash had originally been framed around Ninjaman and Bounty Killer. Yes, with Kartel effectively sent in as the younger combatant, right? That resulting clash with Ninja became physical, as we said later, right? And that was a turning point, according to Len, that was embarrassment for Sting. Okay, according to him. We take everything with a grain of salt and figure out who said it and why they said it. And if there was any kind of blame shifting there. Or if there's any responsibility taken there, right? That moment was symbolic because it was old school authority against younger era provocation, live war culture, the emerging generational shift. All of it was crashing into each other at one time. So instead of you reading that event as simply proof that Ninjaman was better, you must see it as proof that the format itself was unstable at that time and it was changing. There is always a turning point, and then there's always a point of no return after it turning off. These are facts. There's always a turning point, people. And when you turn enough, there's a point of no return. You can't go back. The genie is out the bottle, as we say. Right? Right. Good. Now, and not we, dancehall wars older than me. Like, I'm 27. So, dancehall wars people, right? He would privilege the stage fear factor, the immediacy, and the vocal command, right? Because all the fans, they're not necessarily wrong in what they're feeling, right? But a lot of them say Ninja was better. Again, the nostalgia anchoring, right? Good. All right. So now let me see if there's anything else that I didn't go over that we can just move on. Hold on.
Miss Julie, you know, say me a young youth still now does
I know
music.
I'm just playing. I know.
You know, man, I joke down with you, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
big
no.
up the people, them, you know.
Yeah, big up everybody. Thanks for reminding me. Big up Mr. Gaza, big up Loyal Soldier, big up East Badness, big up same I said same thing already. Big up ISK
Same,
579
run them up.
and Ramos. Big up everybody in the chat and thanks for being here. Make sure that you like the live. Make sure that you like it. Now, the big lesson for Fire Nation, and we don't know. In every industry, when the battlefield changes, the weapon changes. And the champions who rise are usually the ones who understand the new battlefield, right? Ninjaman isn't better by default. He's better at that era's clash requirement. Cartel isn't worse. He's a different kind of weapon built for a different clash reality. The truth is, the clash evolved, the culture evolved, the measurements evolved. Okay, good. Um, yeah, we talked about this. The markets evolve constantly, technology changes, the distribution models changes, right? The audience behavior changes. Nobody have cassette tapes anymore as well, right? This is true for the music, the sports, entertainment as well, right? Good. Now, in business strategy, adaptation is often more important than initial dominance. It's true. The ones that come out and puff up them chest and act like they're the most and they have initial dominance, a lot of times they burn out because they don't have any strategy. They don't have no adaptation. They think they know everything. Companies that refuse to evolve, they often lose market relevance. Where is Blockbuster now? Anybody can tell me? Blockbuster went good. They had 99,000 stores, right? But Netflix came, right? Artists face the same challenge because it's a business, people. And I'm going to keep driving it home until everybody start to look at dancehall as the business that it is, right? Artists face the same challenge, and that is why it behooves you artists to understand business because it will make you understand your craft even more. The ones who succeed long term are those who can recognize when the environment has shifted. That's why Cartel lasts so long. Now you see him on TikTok every minute, right? It's different from back in the day, Cartel, right? But guess what? Him understand that the environment has changed. So now him have to be more active on social media, right? Now I'm there performing and doing acting and little things like that, which is funny just for content. You understand? Right? And maybe future goals, who knows? Right? Good. So we almost done. Let me see. Right. Now I have some traps for you guys, right? That I want you I want some traps that I want you to push people in when they come to you with foolishness. Because that's what we do. We break down arguments, right? Now, again, artists become legends when they understand how to interpret their environment and they respond creatively to it. That's why Cartel is who he is right now, right? That is true for performers. It's true for entrepreneurs. That's why I love dancehall so much, right? The smartest warriors, Fire Nation, are not always the loudest in battle. We are the ones who understand the battlefield itself. Remember, I did a whole live, right, on the art of war. And I talked to you about the different battlegrounds. And I told you, without revealing too much of my strategies, I told you how to recognize for yourself what battleground you're on and how best to deal with that battleground, because every battleground is different. Understand? Right? I love strategy games like chess. I play chess by myself as much as as much as I don't have enough work to do. Right? That's a good stress relief for me. Right? Right? So that's why at a war, you guys watch that live, right? Pick it apart as well. Read the book. They're different for every. You do not need a boat in the desert. Where are you going with that? A boat is great for the sea. In a desert, it's useless. Know what ground you're on and know what weapons you need for that ground. That is how you survive and that's how you evolve. And it's best when people don't know enough, and so they underestimate you. But we're here to teach. Almost done. Right? Now, let's analyze the traps in this debate. So I want you guys to be able to answer them. Fire Nation and Gaza Nation. Anyone arguing with you, they have to avoid these traps. And you should push people in the holes and the traps that they set for you with facts and logics. No feelings necessary. Debate trap 1, the era environment trap. Before we say Ninja would destroy Cartel, we have to ask a fair question. Are we comparing the artists or the environments they came from? Because the clash environment of the 90s and the clash environment of the 2000s are not the same sport. Debate trap number 2, the scorecard trap. I think the real issue here is the scorecard. The older fans like Dancehall War, they measure clash success by crowd domination. People in their 20s like me, well, I'm not going to put me in there, but right, they measure it by lyrical strategy and replay value. So the question becomes, which scorecard are we using? Why are you lumping it together when the dancehall evolve and it's two different eras? Right? Debate trap number 3, adaptation trap. Let me ask you something honestly. Again, the same question that I asked before. If Ninjaman started his career in the YouTube era, do we really think he would perform the exact same way like he did before? Or would he adapt? Great artists usually adapt to the battlefield.
Yeah, you would have to adapt
It's
right
fact.
now. Mm.
Facts. Number 4, the last debate trap, and we're done now. We're done right after this. Right? Here another question. Is the best clash moments the one that shocks the crowd instantly? Or the one people quote for the next 10 years? Those are different types of power, right? Those are different. The real question is, was he built for a different version of the game? That's the evolution trap, right? In every industry, sports, business, technology, the rules evolve. And when the rules evolve, the champions have to evolve. So the real question isn't whether Ninja was great. The real question is, was he built for a different version of the game? Right? Final question. I want you guys to think about it before you come up because we don't know. Right? If the battlefield changes, should we expect the weapons to stay the same? Or do new champions rise because they understand the new battlefield better? Right? In business, do companies that dominate one era always dominate the next? No. Look at Blockbuster. Where are they? Right? What happens to a champion when the environment around them changes? Is the greatest skill domination or is it adaptation? I would say adaptation, just like dancehall war. Are the smartest artists the ones who understand how culture evolves? I would say yes. Cartel is very smart. He understands how the culture evolves. If the battlefield changes, should we expect the weapons to change too? So I'm going to say this one last thing and let people up. Fire Nation, the mistake people make is treating clash like one fixed sport. It was not. Ninjaman came up in a version of Clash where the room itself was the battlefield, the presence, the nerve, the intimidation, and the crowd command were everything. I loved it. Cartel came up in a version of Clash where the rooms were no longer the only judge. Now the Clash has an afterlife. The bars could travel. The rivalries could scale. The fan bases could turn conflict into identity. So no, Fire Nation and Gaza Nation. Ninja was not simply better than Cartel. One second. One second, guys. Hey, everything okay? Yeah, okay. I'm on live right now. I'll call you guys back. Everything is good though. No emergencies. Okay, good. Talk to you. Sorry about that, guys. Right? He was better at one historical form of clashing. Cartel mastered the evolved form, different pressure, different scoring system, different weapons, same sort, same word, clash. But the same word clash does not mean it was the same sport. Fire Nation, remember this. History doesn't reward the loudest warrior forever. It rewards the one who understands that when the battlefield has changed, you need to evolve. Ninjaman, all hail team, showed us what it means to dominate a room. Vybz Kartel showed us what it means to dominate a narrative and to dominate a pen. Different eras, different weapons, same culture, just evolving. And the real lesson for all of us, whether in music, whether in business, whether in sports, or whether in life, is simple. Master the moment that you are in, but always keep your eye on the moment that's coming next. Always. That's my line. This is Miss Bluefire, right? And so remember what I said. Say it again. Master the moment that you're in, sure, but keep an eye on the moment that's coming next. A lot of you who have children, I'm talking to a lot of my friends who have children right now, and they're worried about what they want to choose in school because they're like, the schools have not updated the curriculum for the jobs that are coming out soon with AI. Is this job going to be important to her in 5, 10 years when she's ready to open the workforce when AI is taking off like this? These are questions. You know why? Because the parents are thinking forward. They're thinking about their child being able to take care of themselves financially, right? Everybody, you can start to jump in now. You can start to log in. Hold on. Let me drop
Yeah,
the link.
drop a link for them.
Hold on. Wait, go again. Hold on.
Um,
Sorry, guys, for taking so long with the I'm getting better, and I'll
mm.
keep getting better. So, right.
Come on, a good class you have today.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks very
good.
much. Hey, thank you, Trey. Thank you. Everybody can call in. Dancehall War is a moderator, so he can interrupt you. He can stop you, right? And that is his function today. So no disrespect to him.
You hear that?
So,
That is it.
right?
Sure.
That's
Mm.
right. So you guys can call in. All of them was saying calling and calling. No? I don't know. Right? So I want you to think about that. You master the moment that you're in, but you need to keep an eye on what is coming next. Let me add
Somebody, but I'm like, yo, exchange somebody else.
hello.
Like
You
I'm
need
good
to
with
mute. You have to playing something in the background.
I listen, but I don't listen.
Hello? Mad, are you there?
Hey, hello. Good night.
Hi, good night, Mad. How are you?
Good.
Big
I'm
up,
good.
man.
Okay, good. Welcome. What do you have to say, or what do you have to say to Dancehall War or any question? And he has questions
Yeah,
already.
what are your thoughts from when Miss Julia talk about what we are talk about from the evening?
Why real topic still? Cause we never really read it still
We're
and
gonna
see
talk
it.
we are talk about Ninjaman and Vybz Kartel. The different clash eras, isn't it I say?
Well, honestly, all right. These are real Gaza man. From me, I like 17 years old. Go through high school, everything. You see me? Me what? Me know when it in Ninja Man clash happen. Me listen. And me watch it on YouTube. And me feel like yo, even if the fight never go on, me not think Ninja Man could have defeat Cartel on the night there. You see me? Because if everybody watch back that video there and listen to the lyrics them and how Cartel was come on in the crowd before Ninja Man come out. Me feel like I fight spoil it still. You see me? Because me feel like in that defeat him, because the type of lyrics the Vybz Kartel spit and in way my come on the crowds. You know what I mean? Cause man say murder all of them. Murder all of them. Tell Ninja Man and
You
can
have to
be.
be careful of the language. You can't say the whole word, or we'll get strike.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
No,
That's okay.
yeah.
That's true. Merc, say
Yeah,
Merc.
but
Yeah,
oh, sorry about that because me
that's
not really
okay.
used to YouTube thing and
Yeah, I
sorry,
understand.
Miss Julia. Yeah,
That's all
but
right
me
then.
just I say, like the lyrics, the type of lyrics and the type of impact we man have on the crowd right there. Me feel like if he fight never happen, Cartel come out victorious still. You know, many people wanna see it that way because them only caught up in a fight, but watch a video from start and how Cartel come out and how him perform. And even people that talk about Cartel can perform with bands. Look at that band's performance. I feel like that was like a magnificent performance with Cartel with the bands, yo.
Yeah,
Like when the man say low, everything go low. And the man DJ. When the man say turn off your light, them every light turn off. And everywhere light up. Yo, Cartel, honestly, reason why I'm in the company internet
So
and talk
so
enough, because I fact enough man, whenever you talk positive about Cartel, a man you love. A man you love. A man you, and me can't bother with that. Me can't bother with that ignorance there, you know? And then now it will get me
no,
in another type of ignorance where me I go try to defend myself and then make like it seem like what them I say are true, you know? So that's why,
that's what
you
you
know.
see. Okay, I see what you're saying. But listen, this is what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people say that, right? That's the thing is you have to evolve too for the battlefield. You have to understand, say this it comes with it because that is what narrative shaping. That's what we went through on the lesson. I think you probably missed the lesson. Maybe it would be good if you go back over it, right? But
Yeah.
narrative shaping is a big part of the era that we're in when it comes on to war. So when they say that, they're actually trying to shape a narrative and shame you from actually talking about your artist. But the fact of the matter is they defend their artist too. And more than likely their artist is also a man. So, and I also did a live on the psychology of fan bases. So they would try to shame you for things that actually make the fan base strong collectively. So they would try to shame you individually for what makes you strong collectively. It's the same psychological tactics with racism and misogyny and stuff like that, right? Try to shame you
Yeah.
for your friends. You understand? So, if you are going to be out here, you can't take it personal. You have to understand that they're going to hit below the belt. Why? Another tactic that we learned today, the psychological destabilization. Right? So that's what they're trying to do. But you don't fall for it. You understand? You just understand that this is the battlefield that it is, and I will deal with it accordingly. And if you don't want to, then just don't, just don't bother engage. You understand? But if you have good points and you can talk to yourself into emotional regulation and just deal and just kill them with the facts, then you win. You see what I'm saying? Then you win, right? Be-
mhm.
These are that's fast. Big up yourself, DJ Dreadbeard. Big up Dreadbeard. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, bro. Right?
So
Mm-hmm.
mad
Say
one.
you can call in whenever you want to call in as well. The link is
Mad
there.
one earlier I said remember say because Cartel lyrically I know him then him a dominate the stage and thing. So clash is clash really truly about lyrical skill or it's about dominance and humiliation of your opponent. What do you think? Clash is real. What is Clash about? Because Miss Julia said earlier, you're probably never there still, but
Yeah. But what you think is
remember,
about?
true. Remember, we are gonna say Cartel lyrical, So automatically, some man I say, yeah, man, Cartel are gonna win that man and thing. But me I say, is Clash really truly about skill or is about humiliating your opponent? Like it can be comedic. You know them way there.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Well, honestly, well, my next bridging want talk. My next bridging want talk. Hold on.
All right. Yeah. Sure. Anybody can come on and express themselves.
People might be biased because I'm Canadian, but I background Jamaican. But
Yeah, man.
for a man
Big
to
up and
be
nice to see you.
13 years gone and to come back and take over, it says it all. I'm not being rude, but it speaks for itself.
But hold on, do you?
Yeah, well,
I do not disagree with you, but we do have to stay on topic. Do
we'll
you
try
know
to
what
stick
the
to it.
topic? Right. Do you know what the topic is about?
No, no, no. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I just heard that Vibe Cartel and certain
Okay,
things.
I understand. I understand. Well, I'm not. I am not somebody who strong arm people or anything like that. So you can say what you want to say, my dear. Express yourself, and then
Okay,
afterwards
what I'm
we'll.
saying to you is
Yeah.
Vibe Cartel gone, and everybody I fight for the throne. Everybody I fight for the throne. May I watch it? I mean, and Africans come and take over, and people act like, oh yeah, they're the shit. Sorry for my language. I
Yeah. Don't
apologize.
curse on the platform. That's okay though.
But
Yeah.
everybody jump on a bandwagon. Now I'm old school. Back from oh cherry, baby. Please stop. Okay. When me and my granny would dance. I know music, even though I can't say, you know what, I'm a background fully to Jamaican, so I should know. But for a man to be gone and everybody have fight and everybody's just trying to do it. End of the day, I think personally, Jamaicans just need to be proud of where we are. We take over sports, we take over everything we touch our hands on. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
We are something that is unmovable.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to hear that you know big up. Here, you know what? What is the topic? So I understand.
This is what you need to do. First, you need to like the stream. Second, you need to subscribe. And
Of
third,
course,
you
of
can,
course, we have to do
third, you
that.
can go back and watch it, right? And you can check out all the other dancehall reasoning that I have, because I have Canadian friends here that are interested in dancehall and learning the history of dancehall. So what I deal with is the business of dancehall, because I want people to start respecting dancehall for the art form and the export that it is. Because
Oh,
other people
oh.
are
Then I,
actually.
I understand fully what you're saying. When it comes to
Right.
dancehall,
But let me finish. Let me finish. 1 second. The other people outside of our culture, they are benefiting more from dancehall and the economics of dancehall than the people who actually create it. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, dear. Say what you want to say.
are true,
Yeah.
are true.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't even say, you know what, you're wrong, you're true. Because I remember when dancehall used to be dance hall. I mean, party, everybody enjoying themselves when real music used to come out. But yes, I agree with you're saying. I mean, dancehall is not the same as it used to be.
But
But
at the same time, is anything. Everything evolves. And that's what we're talking about, the different clash eras of Ninjaman and Cartel. So we can't say one is better than the other, because it was a different sport when Ninjaman was reigning than when Cartel was coming up, because of the media, because of the technological changes, because of the culture shift. So it became a different sport. So what we are saying is the evolution, right, make it that you can't say one is better than the other. They had different weapons for a different battlefield, which
okay,
makes sense. And the
yes.
cartel evolved. But anyhow, continue.
That's like Hussein Bolt and Ben Johnson. Two different era, but still reigning in the same culture. You can't put them together. It's like
It's
Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. Michael Jordan's
that is a
old.
better analogy. That is
I
actually a
mean,
better analogy,
you have to
right?
respect the people that laid the foundations before you came. And that's just what it is.
That's true.
If these youths have grew up in the time that all these dancehall guys were starting out, half these youths would have to be dead or be manner or have manners.
Yeah, right? But they grew up in different time. So what I
Okay.
want us, but this is the thing though, and what I want, and this is one of the things we were discussing, is that yes, as the older people, we always say that, and which it might be true, but we need to teach and understand. So we need to be able to impart the information to the younger ones, and we need to understand the era that they grew up and how they grew up, and the fact that they were not exposed to what we were exposed to. So it's a completely different mindset. right? Because there was evolution, because there's this anti-bullying thing, and because there is this basically soft era, right? I'm not saying that we prefer it, but the fact of the matter is that is how they grew up. So that affects the psychology. You see what I'm saying? So they are not going to value the same things that we value when they grew up with an iPad or when they grew up with a mobile phone than when
Facts.
than us, right? Who
Grew up
right
with nothing.
right or grew up with you're going to be there at 5 o'clock.
Just
Okay,
steering
fine,
wheel, like wheel
right? And
cart, everything like
exactly, exactly,
marble, cashew, elastic. That was our entertainment. You know what I mean?
right,
As youths growing up.
So hold
right,
on.
and
That makes me feel old because I was running with a bleach bottle and a stick and a piece of wheel.
that's
Shut up,
funny.
man. All right.
But anyhow, but let me
But
ask
what
you a war
back
thing because
back
we
to what
want
we
to
were
go ahead. What you
sorry.
say? No, no, go
Back
ahead.
to what we were saying about Ninja Man
Yeah,
and Cartel that night.
yeah,
My brethren is very old school, you know. You know, he's
yeah.
very, into that type of part. But what I'm saying, when we do over one party, so now, what we
Mm-hmm,
are talking about Ninja Man and Cartel, Panda Night there.
mm-hmm.
Remember, he man say murder all of them.
Remember, you can't
Don
say that word
Gandhi,
twice. We're
Don
gonna get
Gandhi, and the whole of them and install of them. You know what I mean? That lyrics alone, me feel like kill everything where Ninja Man that go come out with. Can Ninja Man
but
come out
but
with
but but,
Bible and
but
all type of thing and weave and all type of thing? We already seen that Ninja Man. We see her see already.
But that a ninja man still no mad
that
one.
is ninja, right?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
Ninja Man. A Ninja
Mm-hmm.
Man. But hear me I say. If that little fight never go on, Cartel would have still become the victoria of that night. Me still believe that 100%. Because watching from the start to what lead up to what happened, Cartel was holding the crowd. The crowd was eating out of him hand. When Ninja Man come out, of course he might go get applause. That is Ninja Man. Come on. That is Ninja Man. But after that, what happened? A lyrics. And
But
Ninja Man never had no lyrics like Cartel them
but
time.
mad, this is what
Ninja
I.
Man,
But mad,
yeah.
listen, and this is what we were talking about on the live. It was a turning point in the culture. That's hypothetical to say Ninja Man didn't have those lyrics, but at that time, right?
No, sorry. Me I stop you this. Nah, sorry. When I said Ninja Man did not add no lyrics, he had lyrics, but not in the type of vocabulary
I
where
understand what you're saying.
Vibes Cartel had.
Listen to what I'm saying. Let
Yeah.
me finish, right? What I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying, and also Vibes Cartel has also improved lyrically as well because of the times change. He has kept up with the times. What I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying about Vybz Kartel being able to take him over with lyrics, but we have to look at the time of that clash. That was a turning point in the clash, and there was a lot of older people there that valued what Ninja Man brought to the stage. So we don't know. We honestly don't know. But what we are saying is, neither both of them are different skill sets, and both of them are different battlefields and different weapons. So we can't really say he would destroy him or he is better than him. They have different strengths. You understand what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying about the lyrical. But during that time, stage presence was also a thing. And if you don't listen, if you don't believe me, think about it. One of the reasons why Sting kind of fell on its face is because of the fact that it did not evolve. A lot of people say allegedly, that Leng is still going off of how he dealt with artists in the past. The same bad man thing, the same bully type of thing that don't work with nowadays artists. He has not evolved, but the culture and the clash has. So different things were important at that time. But I definitely hear what you're saying. You definitely say that Cartel is more lyrical than Ninja Man, right? I hear what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying per se, but a lot of things we didn't get to see play out because it got physical. But the point of what we are saying is the battlefield change, the clash evolved. It was the same sport, but it was based the same name, but it was a different sport. But continue what you're saying. What you're saying is still valid. So talk what you're saying, and then afterwards,
All
since
right.
nobody else is calling in, I'm going to let Dancehall War have the last word, and then we can log off.
All right. Let me
Yeah.
ask. Basically, you are say, oh, basically it was Ninja Man era. Ninjaman was still have a feet in that era. He was still leading, which I agree in some point because Ninjaman they only come out on Sting and then blink once a year like Pepper Light, as we cartel say. You know what I mean? Remember, Ninja Man they never have no tune we are running here we come back down to summer or whatever where we know of. Maybe 90s or 80s people. But when me I go ask you, Miss Julia, all of
Yeah.
those lights where you see turn on, watch back the video. All of those lights where you see turn on, you go tell me say I be a 80s lights, I be a people who are alone when no Ninja Man turn on
No,
then like they are then flame there.
but I never said that Ninjaman in that time was controlling the era. I said
No,
Ninjaman came from a different era, and that clash moment was a turn in the culture. That was
yes.
when he started to turn to where there was a point of no return because there was a turning point basically. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I know you said that, but I'm
Mm,
saying, but at some point, Ninja Man them still had a stronghold on the business. They still had uh, uh, a way of getting people to listen to them. But it was once a year. That's what I'm saying. And
mm,
when it come down to cartel, boss, and
mm,
cartel rise up, and cartel come to say, yo, you know what? Me I go take on them money, you know. Because enough people never know say enough people always a put you out like say yo, a cartel just kick down Ninja Man.
mm.
Yo, Ninja Man did a third cartel. And if you watch the video good, me feel like say an even cartel fat. Me even feel like a cartel fat.
I know, I know. A
A
lot of I.
defense, yo. A defense. Me and my dog them up there, and if you rush me, I come talk about this. Yo, come on. Wait for your dog them there. Wait for your man them there. For defend you. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Nobody come talk about that. But when me I say no,
Mm.
Cartel solidify himself away in a dance hall with that move. Even if it was not planned move,
Okay,
because
Ninja was the one who hit him first because I even watched it
of
recently
course,
to do this research. I actually watched back the lives. Watch back the
me watch it a million times, Miss Julia.
right?
So me know what me I talk about. I
Yeah,
mean, no
yeah.
business
Ninja
when no next
actually.
vlogger want say if they want gain views or if they want gain people talk point because them a whole Ninja fan. But Ninja was the first one with hit Cartel and Cartel react and in niggas react. So
Yeah,
what you want? What you want? A war we coming up.
yeah, yeah, but mad. I understand and I appreciate the passion for it and stuff like that. And you're right.
I guys, I'm saying of life, Cause when someone did I say, cause when so let me tell you, from in my
Yeah.
community, a one man call me away a one way and say, yo dog, me never know say, I saw one artist powerful, I me rate you, if you say Gaza, because every youth I say gully. But a Gaza me say, for life, I mean nah stop say that. Or if them a go beat you out of me, the last breath of Gaza. You see me?
Go and watch my live on fandom. I think it will give
Mhm.
you a lot more understanding, and it might embolden you to call in to other places and stand your ground because you're going to see the tactics that
Yo,
people
Miss
use.
Jola, let me tell you this. We watch every platform. We
Listen
don't
to what
fool to
I'm
the
saying
thing.
now.
We watch every
Why you don't make
platform.
me,
But you
hold
what?
on. You have to make me finish the statement, right? What I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is you watch the platforms and stuff, but you admittedly just said when you first came on that you don't call in because you don't want people to go personal because you have a temper. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, if right. So what I'm saying
I'm
is, if you watch the live that I have on fandom, it will probably give you a little bit of ammunition and make you understand how to deal with the space a bit more. That's all I'm saying. But anyhow, let me hear your closing argument, and then I'm going to give it to the dance award because nobody else is calling in. I guess there are other lives that started, and that is fine because we've been here for 2.5 hours. Dance award, I want to thank you very much for your
me dance
time.
hour is something, man. Me dance
Yeah,
hour.
Yeah,
Dance
man.
award is very, very busy, and he graced us with 2.5 hours of his time. Thank you very much for that.
Me
Anytime,
don't
Miss
want to see me
Julia.
final word. Me more want dance hour I say something.
Yeah, what
Cause a
dance
long
Yeah,
award?
time
man.
I watch the youth on TikTok and all over.
Big up,
Mm-hmm.
me J. Yeah,
Yes, me
man.
G.
But you don't know, brother, two different era, So you don't
Mm-hmm.
know. As me say, Ninja Man would have to adapt, you know what I mean? Adapt to now. You see me, I say, if you take on all Vybz Kartel. Even in a them time, there, we don't know where him then forward with, because you don't know a cut short at just couple minutes we get. You see me?
Yes,
So we
sir.
still can't judge it because it never happened. You see me? I say it almost did, but it never happened. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Mhm.
I just see two era them, are two different era. Right now, you don't know I be a tune down for your voice and them thing there. You see me? I say, you don't know Ninjaman a great artist, but at stage we know Ninjaman for dominate more than the records. You see me?
Right.
Although he had some huge records, don't get me wrong.
Of
You see
Right.
me?
course.
You see me? But you don't know.
Yeah.
In a know you don't know, I just adapt. You see me? Miss Jules
Exactly
did
right.
speak a little on that earlier. You see me? You have to just
Exactly
adapt
right.
to know, you see me? And
Exactly
then
right.
we don't have a you see me? We can't go judge it in a way, kinda hard to judge it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see
it
me?
kind of hard to judge. It's a lot of hypotheticals, and just the fact that there are two different type of artists with two different type of strengths, and that was
Mm-hmm.
a turning point. That was a catalyst in the turning point, you know. But listen,
Yeah.
everybody, I want you guys to check out Dancehall War. He also does advertising for entrepreneurs and other channels. He also makes posters. Very very talented. Made a couple of my posters, which you'll see next week, and his turnaround is super fast and the work is excellent and he's very easy to work with. Do not take advantage of him, right? So
Big up
do
Miss
the
Julie.
right thing and check him out and check out his channel as well, because I'm frequently over there on TikTok and he streams on YouTube as well. Mad, thank you for calling in. You were brave enough to call in. I don't know all the
Yeah,
men
man.
all the men
Maybe
them.
just, maybe
Big up Mad
just
Mom.
say, for just 1 second, me just
Yeah,
want
man,
big
go
up
ahead and say something. But hold on, one second. Let
876.
me say something to the chat. Big up Kenny Marshall. I haven't seen you in years. Big up Kenny Marshall. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Make sure say subscribe and tune in. Go through, Mad. What you saying?
Yeah, I want big up 86 on the go food and catering. I don't know my thing that a food me deal with. Don't know, but me love the music, you see me?
Good,
Is it? So just
good.
big up everybody. Big up Miss Julia for give me a talk and thing. You know what I mean? Big up
Blessings.
dancehall war because you fear, you clarify, and you always dip on point. So and me just
Respect
want to
Magic.
say
Very
that. You
balanced.
see me?
Very balanced.
So
But listen, this channel here is for entrepreneurs. So if you have a catering and thing, I will interview you and we can talk about your products and what it is that you do, right?
yeah, man. For sure,
And we
man.
can, yeah, and so
Yo,
we
me da
also give,
appreciate that, Miss Julia, if you do that. Yeah, man.
and we
For
also
sure.
Respect
give a
man.
lot of business lessons. So peruse the channel. I mean, like look through the channel,
Yeah,
see
man, me
what.
already subscribe to you, Miss Julia. You know, if you tell
All
me,
right,
me always see your
no
script. I
worries.
subscribe long time.
And
Cause me dey
much,
over everywhere. And see you, you
much,
see me? And I
yeah,
just know.
well, much respect to you and much respect for your bravery to call in. And I appreciate the honesty and I appreciate, that's why I love talking to my people. You know what I mean? Especially on these
Yeah,
platforms.
man. And Miss Julia,
You're
let me
so
tell you this,
genuine.
man.
Yeah?
You're a very encouraging person, without you even trying to encourage it.
Oh,
Just know
thank
that.
you.
Big
Thank you
up
very, I
yourself. So,
appreciate that.
yeah, man. You
Bless
know,
up,
have to say
man.
40, man. That's all.
You're
So
welcome
big up
here
on
anytime.
yourself. Dance all or Miss Julia.
Big up
Life
you,
was
Mad One.
nice. And me just a
Mm-hmm.
say, go and do nothing I go on. You see me?
That
Blessings.
is it.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Bye there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
over. So I'm going to end now because I guess other lives are popping. But anything that you want to say, anything at all that you want to leave the
Yeah,
people with as we close?
yeah, man. Big up everybody with tune in. You don't know. Make sure you know subscribe to Miss Julie. You don't know the thing, Miss Blue Fire, you see me? Make sure you click the like button. You can share the live to someone, You see me?
Thank you.
Who are interested in that topic, you see me? You don't know. And big up yourself, Miss Julia. You
Yeah,
don't know the
and big
thing,
up
go, you see
yourself
me?
too. And thanks for being a supporter of women, especially in this space, especially a new person in the space, right? Thanks for being so professional and thanks for being genuine and supportive. And I appreciate you. And you are one of the men that are safe for women. So we appreciate you and thank you very much.
And big up
All
Miss
right,
Julie.
big up.
I say a word.
Fire Nation, listen to me. You don't log off and go back to playing small. You take what you learned and you execute. This is why Fire Nation exists. To rise higher, to build smarter, and to change the financial future of our families. I'm Miss Julia, A.K.A. Miss Blue Fire, always taking you higher. And wherever you go next, you carry our fire with you. Fire Nation, we rise, we build, and we're just getting started.